Arknights is about to enter another gauntlet phase of exceptionally strong operators released back to back, so that got me thinking about who are the new top 10 operators with the introductions of these new top of the line units. Since I'm including future releases, this is your spoiler warning for future operators. I will try my best to make this a varied list and something that won't just devolve into DPS check. So without further ado, get ready to disagree with my list and let's talk about the top 10 operators in the game. And if you want to bring out the best in those top 10, let me introduce you to MuMuPlayer, the world's only ad-free Android emulator. Play Arknights on PC with 4K quality and stable FPS, giving you lag-free smooth gameplay that will fully immerse you in your modeling of getting niche clears. MuMuPlayer supports key mapping, making it even easier to play on PC. And if you panic pause as much as I do, then you'll find binding a key to the pause button mighty helpful. Since MuMuPlayer has very little impact on your computer, you can use its multi-instance support to farm more efficiently if you have more than one account, without tanking your PC's performance. MuMuPlayer is also quite the stable emulator, so no worries about it crashing on you when Re blows up waves of enemies. Looking at you 15-9. Did I mention you get all of this for the low cost of free? Check the description to download MuMuPlayer for free, and to support the channel at no extra cost to you. Thanks to MuMuPlayer for sponsoring this video. Starting off our list is actually two operators that are representing the CC side of the game, Susu and Kyobi. Kyobi is simple enough as she's the best operator in the game to deal with high defense enemies, and well, CC really likes giving high defense risks. Suzu on the other hand provides all the utility you need with her slow and damage amplification. 6 years later and Suzu is still the best damage amplifier in the game. Both of these operators are quintessential CC units and it's quite rare to see any max risk that doesn't feature one or both of them. This is the start of the reign of Music Knights as Arturiel lands 9th on the list. Elemental damage is something we will touch on later in this list with a certain other ritualist, but safe to say, elemental damage is the mechanic HG really wants us to use. Arturiel being able to inflict Enfeeble so easily with a proc of Necrosis is what makes her so good. Enfeeble, for those who don't know, means that the enemies with that debuff only deal 50% damage. She also enables the best boss killer to do her job in the form of Nymph, since almost all enemies take elemental damage as true damage. This is not to say anything about how she also buffs your team on her S3. The buff, while not crazy as others on this list, still provides utility to the team. It allows Arturiel to deal damage by quickly proccing Necrosis Burst over a large area, and supports the team by letting everyone be able to tank hits more effectively. The 50% is especially useful when procced against bosses as it makes them way less threatening, proccing elemental damage on top. Now that we got the cringe no damage options out of the way, coming in at number 8 is Moinar. The Golden Uncle loves standing around menacingly. While he is unable to block off skill, he makes up for it by having Taunt in his kit, allowing you to ignore all deployment order and live the easy life. While his Taunt is nice, the reason Moinar makes it onto this list is due to his funny damage numbers that come coupled with his massive range. Moinar for the most part can outrange most enemies, which lets him do big damage without having to actually be in danger of being hit. And if he must take hits, the uncle is quite the tanky lad, ensuring he's able to survive most things in the game anyways. Moinar do be swinging. The second Music Knights operator lands right in 7th place. Logo still remains as the best caster in the game. He is easy to use and comes with skills that most of the player base can enjoy. A big damage skill that lets you burst bosses and dangerous enemies, and an AFK skill for those of us that love not playing the game. The AFK skill being named Perish is just very silly and funny. As mods are not made equally, Logos received one that pushes him up into this list. His ability to proc Necrosis on enemies is essentially a 50% attack increase. Elemental damage is the name of the game, and his ability to proc Elemental Burst makes him more future-proof than most operators in the game. This doesn't even take into account the fact that Necrosis Burst lowers enemies' attack by 50%, thereby letting him also provide utility to the team, and is not just a deals damage operator. Getting hit with the anime girlification beam, our favorite Spine Demon lands at number 6. The Spine Demon is a monster of a unit, no pun intended. As the first 6-star chain medic, she needed an outstanding kit and talents to make her stand out, and boy did HG deliver. The reason Monster lands this high up on the list is the fact that she's able to buff your team so easily. By just existing on the field and healing your team, she's able to give them 20 more attack speed, and if they are around her summon, an extra 15% of attack. Two very good buffs for just doing her job. If you want your operators to attack even faster, just slap her S2 on for that sweet attack speed. And as an added bonus, she becomes a great healer too. Just like in the good old days, Monster still comes with a true damage skill. This true damage skill is still able to heal your units and provide buffs to your team. So effectively, she can still heal and buff while killing things. Incredible. To top it all off, even if she gets defeated during her S3, she doesn't get retreated, as she just goes back to her original position with 1 HP, effectively giving her a second life, albeit a feeble one. All of Monster's skills are offensive recovery, but don't worry, since she is able to heal her summon, you don't need injured units for her to get her skill. Hell, with the summon, she can just get her skills without healing a single operator. And that is busted. Spinning and or dropping into the top 5 is both Yato and Texas. They are sharing since giving them each a separate spot is a bit cringe. The two FRDs are still mainstays even 2 years later after their releases. Texas comes with the ability to stun large waves and save your units with set stun. If utility is not what you seek, then her S2 can provide the big DPS without losing the AoE damage of S3. Texas's talents are what elevates her to this high placing position. Damage reduction and attack speed increase are all great things to have as talents, but her ability to reset her skill on kill is so useful. It effectively doubles her damage. While Texas can provide utility with stun, Yato is just a very big damage dealer. Since Yato is intangible on S3, she's able to be deployed on occasions where Texas would just insta-die, giving Yato her own unique use cases. Her S3 also allows her to hit a large quantity of enemies given they are close enough to each other, with the drawback of S3 being you are liable to whiff her deployment. Yato's S2 is also unique in the fact that it hits all targets, giving her a pseudo AoE effect, whereas Texas is single target. These two are separated by thin margins, and who you ultimately decide is better comes down to personal preference. Resident Funny Man sings for us at number 4. As time has gone on, the effectiveness of elemental damage has only continued to rise, as the game has found new ways to mitigate the large amount of high DPS operators we now have, mainly by giving bosses giga damage resistance. However, elemental resistance for enemies has not kept up with that scaling. Elemental injury and damage has remained the only consistent way to contend, or better said circumvent, the damage reducing mechanics that have been so prevalent recently. Even as the recording of this video, almost all enemies in the game still have little to no resistance against elemental damage, as if HG is asking us to abuse the mechanic. Elemental damage rant aside, Phantom Ult just breaks the game with his S2. HG saw that fear, while good, was too random, so they decided to make a better version, and thus Lure was born. The ability to lure is so good it is a wonder why it ever escaped the RA module system, and then they gave that busted ability to Phantom for a measly 25 SP cost, and then gave the cat a 22-second cooldown. I'm not sure what they were cooking, but the load timers on both things makes it busted. One busted skill wasn't enough for Dear Phantom here. His third skill is one of the, or maybe is, the best CC skill in the game, for how it can abuse the paralysis debuff. Paralysis, by the way, is a new debuff that makes enemies unable to attack 3 times, and is the best burst in the game by a long shot. With a bit of support, Phantom can almost infinitely stall any enemy in the game, granted that they don't die first within his skill. Phantom is just a fantastic utility pick, and best of all, both S2 and S3 are quite the fun skills to use. Coming in third is Walter. Surprise of the century, I know, but as all number 1 operators before her, they all eventually fall with the passage of time. Whether it be due to the game faring different mechanics in its operators, or just one who does their job but better and with more upsides. Whatever the case may be, power creep will always bring in a new number 1. Walter, despite coming third, is still probably the best DPS in the game due to how she can screen wipe entire stages with the massive blast radius she has on her S3. There's not much else to say about the Roach. She does the big AoE damage while providing tanking support with her summons. Place, click skill, win. You know her, you love her, probably. It is the forever number 2, Ines. Ines is still the queen of utility and role compression. Ines has the ability to steal attack, invis real without even needing to be deployed, get DP for your team, is able to bind and stall, and is able to slow down enemies in her range of her summon or herself, all while having a reduced redeployment time due to being an agent. All this coupled makes Ines just way too versatile to use. She does too many things, and does those things better than most. She's only not number 1 because she lacks the big impact damage all other number 1 operators have. Even then, there's a good argument that you could place her as a top operator in the game, since her talents and skills will always be evergreen, as she does so much. Even if a mechanic negates one of her uses, she has 4 or 5 other things she can still do. Before we get to the number 1 operator in the game, let's do a lightning round of some honorable mentions that missed out on the top 10. The first to come up is the duo of OPP and Gladia, as they together make the best lane holder in the game. You can sit OPP down anywhere and he will not die and just clean up the whole stage for you. Lazy Alt gets her mention here. She can be slotted right next to Moinar, as she is a fantastic side grade to him that fulfills an entirely different niche. Her S1 and S2 come to mind with their funky mechanics, coupled with her ability to levitate. I was also mostly avoiding having another double up placement on this list. Shu is still a great buff support for the team, and her ability to teleport enemies and stall will never stop being useful and immensely funny. Dagon does Dagon things with her high damage and ability to disarm. Nightingale has as a future-proof kit as you can get, with her ability to grant rest to allies and being able to bait attacks with her cages. The next is AL Alt, as she makes an entire mechanic in the game just not exist, while also being one of the best healers in the game. To not make this section longer than it needs to be, Parka also makes this list, as she is probably the best healer in the game. Radian also makes this list, as she is your best friend in IS6 and overall just a fantastic summoner. Alright, on to the number 1 spot. Also, subscribe now. Coming in at number 1, the top operator in this new age of power with the Arknights is none other than Exu Alter. With that, another limited altar takes the spot as the best unit in the game. Exu comes with a whole package of goodies that elevate her to the top spot. Starting with her most simple skill, her S2 dishes out large amounts of damage. It doesn't waste too much ammo and is able to melt through most enemies. Coupled with the big damage comes the extra benefit of Exu giving a barrier on her skill in exchange for attack speed, increasing the survivability of both Exia herself and the unit she stole attack speed from. As an added bonus, she even gets more ammo if you do steal from someone. You don't even need to steal attack speed. Exia's S2 can be used without targeting anyone, giving herself a barrier that can be life-saving. Then there's her S3, still another heavy hitting skill that doesn't fall behind the DPS of her second. But even on top of that, she gets the ability to revive your other operators, which is a wild thing to be able to do. While very much a gimmick, the redeployment allows for many creative ways for you to solve stages. With her redeployment giving 6 SP, you can use it in a way that allows you to get 2 skill activations in quick succession. The redeployment can also be used as a panic button. For example, say your defender dies, you can activate her skill and redeploy, saving your friend blind. All of this while buffing any ammo operators in your squad, which is a nice bonus. All of these boons are things Exia can do herself, and the best part is, if you want even more damage, she is a fantastic operator to buff due to her skill damage scales. Exia has all that makes operators great and the top of the meta: damage, utility, survivability, and ease of use. Those are the top 10, for me at least. You can make an argument that anyone in the top 4 deserves to be placed as the best operator in the game, and it would be valid. Just goes to show you how many good operators we have gotten recently. Well, till next time.